What's up, everybody? We're live in New York at the D&D annual dinner. It's been an awesome day. It's Amber and Joe. Joe, introduce our special guest.
Great. Well, our special guest right now is Tom Meehan with Bloomingdale's. Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Joe.
And so, Tom, you're an expert in the industry, and we know that today you've been talking with other retailers and industry folks about some of the efforts to educate the industry, protect our assets, technology, and store physical security. What are some of the programs that are on top of your mind that you've been talking about today?
So the foremost thing that we've been speaking about is the Loss Prevention Research Council at the University of Florida. And Bloomingdale's is heavily involved in it, and there's quite a few retailers and solution providers that are involved in it. But it really is about learning and solving problems.
That's great. And the Research Council, for those of you not familiar with the program, is run by Dr. Reed Hayes from the University of Florida. And tell us a little bit about how did Bloomingdale's get involved, and how would other retailers get involved in the Research Council?
Sure. So we'll start with Bloomingdale's. Our vice president, Chad McIntosh, is one of the founders and was involved. And when he came back to Bloomingdale's, he got us involved. So I've been involved pretty heavily for about 4 years, and then not so heavily, but a couple of years prior to that. And anybody who's interested should reach out to the Loss Prevention Research Council. You can go right to the D&D website. You'll see information there. And Dr. Reed Hayes is available, or you can reach out directly to me at Bloomingdale's, and I can get you in. I chair the Future of Loss Prevention group, and we're always looking to talk about really what's on everybody's mind about the future and some of the challenges we have with the evolution of our business.
So
That's a cool name.
Yeah. Okay, so the Future of Loss Prevention.
That's it.
Okay, so I want to know, just give me, a couple tidbits. What is our future look like?
This is almost like we're 2012 opening the door of the DeLorean on Back to the Future, right? It's not like that.
You're a total millennial, right?
No, I'm not. I missed it. And
He's an edge.
I'm on the border of it. But the group is really about the future. And so why don't I talk a couple things we're talking about today. We're talking one about how do you build the store of the future? So how do you work in an environment where it's a true omni-channel environment where you have fulfillment coming from stores, you have same-day delivery, buy online, pick up in store, all those things. So soup to nuts, how do you build that store? How do you staff that store? What technologies should you use? That's one of the projects we're working on. We're also talk a lot about innovation labs. So Bloomingdale's has a lab with the University of Florida where we're trying all sorts of different technology. And it's really new technology, everything from video analytics to our fully engaged RFID stores, 100% RFID, and taking traditional business tools and really seeing, all right, in an environment, how can they work with asset protection? And then the last thing we're talking about is what's the future hold for us? So how will we have to evolve? What training will we need? How will we retain people in the future? You talked about millennials and all the job jumping. So what do we need to do for that generation just to keep them in one place to make sure that they can learn the business?
That's right.
Yeah, so tell us about the solution providers involved in the LPRC. We know that that's a big deal, for retailers to truly believe that their solution provider partners are actually engaged in the industry and invested in solutions that are for the future of the industry. So talk a little bit about to those solution providers that may be on the fence about getting involved in the LPRC.
So I talk about this a lot because I'm always asked, and in the business, I source some new technologies, so I meet with a lot of solution providers. The LPRC is really about problem solving, so it allows the solution provider to be involved directly and sit at the table. It's not so much a selling environment. You'll meet the people that are going to buy the product, but you're really going to understand what the problem is from their perspective so that you can actually go out there and provide a solution. And it sounds a little cheesy when you say it that way, but that's really what it's about. And from the retail side, on the flip side, it's a learning environment. What's out there that I didn't know about? What can I ask folks for? What's the next greatest and latest thing that we need?
So you said you were on that verge of millennial, and Joe, you're right on that edge too, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
buddy?
Absolutely.
Right on the edge of millennial. So you would think that you are with all of his social media tweeting out. So tell us, edge
do you
millennial.
know what Twitter is?
I do.
So you have a Twitter handle?
I do. I do have a Twitter handle.
Is it something we can share with the viewers?
It absolutely is. It's Tom's IT Logic.
Tom's IT Logic.
Yeah, so...
that's so civil. That's so civil.
So Joe and I, we exchange some things on Twitter all the time. So from our aspect, Twitter or social media is really changing the landscape. So what today happens, everybody knows about right away. So you can use social media to identify trends way ahead of time. You can actually use it to predict what's going to happen. In addition to, there's nothing you can't find out about. So, we talk about technology and people always ask, how do you stay abreast? Everything's available, and social media just gets it to you quicker. So the days of not knowing about a new technology or something that's going on are over. Now it's how quickly does it get out? And that works sometimes good and, sometimes bad.
Tom, do you agree or disagree with this statement? I think Twitter, texting, the changes that we have with short messaging communication, are we going to see corporate offices change the way they communicate to employees in that same 140 character messaging?
I think we probably already do today. I don't know about anybody else, but we get tons of emails. And I think we're all conditioned to read those first 2 or 3 lines just out of pure necessity to get through the day. And I often say technology isn't really going to take jobs away from people. It's going to make jobs easier if you utilize it correctly. So it's really about, just same as when you're giving a message to someone, how can you be clear and concise? So I believe that it's already starting to transition that way today, where the message has to be shorter, because when, 3 years ago you might have got 100 messages a day, today you get 400 or 500 messages a day.
And your attention span is that much shorter.
Well, regardless of whether you are a millennial or not, you're certainly in the know. Give our audience a little advice on if they haven't necessarily picked up Twitter or even understand social media, give them a little how-to, not detail specific, but are they missing the boat here?
Yeah, I think from a professional standpoint, it allows you to stay abreast of what's going on. So what's going on both in the media, both in the industry and a technology standpoint. As far as getting it started, it couldn't be any easier. It is ATM simple. You go out, it doesn't cost anything, and it just takes a few minutes. And you don't necessarily need to send information out. So the biggest thing I hear is, well, I'm a personal guy, I don't really want to get information out there. So use it to consume information, and you can set it up to consume whatever it is that you need to consume.
That is brilliant. And that's one of the things I first got involved with Twitter was, understanding and consuming news. And you don't have to tweet anything. Don't freak out. You don't have to tweet anything.
Absolutely. Tom, we need to leave it right there, and we're going to give you the 140 character goodbye. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your partnership.
142. Nope,
I think
he
that's
missed it.
142. #retail.
Hashtag send it back to Gus.
Gus, we're going to send it back to you.